Hey guys, this is EJ Holland with the Wolverine.com. I was back in the mitten today for playoff action. West Bloomfield, Sterling Heights, Stevenson was supposed to be a great game. Instead was an absolute blowout. West Bloomfield completely dominated. It was literally 56-6 at a halftime, final 63-6. So let's talk a little bit about the West Bloomfield crew, starting off with Rivals 100 running back Donovan Edwards, who, as I posted first over at the Wolverine.com, which subscribe 60 days free, Blue 60. That's the promo code. He will be in Ann Arbor tonight, and that's going to be huge for Michigan. As far as him as a player, I mean, he was fantastic, absolutely spectacular tonight. I was super impressed with him. I feel like last year Donovan wasn't as fast or as explosive or as strong as he is this year. I mean, he's really, really put in the work, and I actually wrote that this offseason. I was like, yeah, Donovan's a really, really good back. But he looks the part here in offseason workouts when I stopped by West Bloomfield. And that offseason work definitely paid off. I think he's taken the step from really, really good back to elite level, truly elite level back. This is a weak year for running backs across the country, and I think Donovan is definitely a tier one guy. I saw five-star Kamar Wheaton in game last year, and I think Kamar is faster, but I think Donovan's a better overall back, and he's a great receiver as well. One of his 6 touchdowns today was a touchdown reception where he mossed a kid in the end zone. He can do it all. He can split out wide. He can play wildcat quarterback, which he did a lot of today. He can run between the tackles. He can get outside of them. So I really, really like Donovan Edwards' skill set. I've compared him to Aaron Jones, and some people are like, oh, Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is a top-level fantasy player this year, for sure. Like, he is like a top 5 fantasy running back. And so I think that Aaron Jones is underappreciated. He's a guy that brings a lot of that similar skill set, a guy that picks up like a crazy amount. His career yards per carry is crazy. So he picks up a lot of chunk yards. He always moves the chains. He breaks one every now and then, and he makes plays as a receiver as well. I feel like Devontae Adams gets a lot of credit, but the Packers offense this year runs through Aaron Jones. And on the, high school side, the West Bloomfield offense runs through Donovan Edwards. He does everything for them, and he's really, really impressive. He's built really well. Like I said, his speed has improved, his strength. I mean, he was breaking through tackles today. He was zooming around. So really, really high on Donovan Edwards. I think he's, again, a tier 1 back. Aside from him on the West Bloomfield side, Michigan has a couple of offers out, notably Dylan Tatum, Rivals 250 athlete in the 2022 class. Really like Dylan Tatum as a DB. There was talk about him playing running back at the next level, but he really impressed as a defensive back. I think he can be a corner or a safety. He's built really well. He's an extremely versatile athlete, and he's explosive. I don't think he's a natural runner, but I do think he looks pretty smooth as a corner, as a safety, and I think Dylan's upside is really, really high. He's a guy that's still kind of learning the fundamentals of being a corner, and Michigan has kind of switched its roles. They aren't really recruiting him as a running back anymore. They're straight up recruiting him as a corner, and so I think he can play. I don't think he's just a straight up corner either. I think he can play corner. I think he can play nickel. I think he can play safety. He's a guy you kind of move around in the secondary. Amir Herring in the 2023 class, offensive lineman. I think he's one of the top guys in state for that class. And he had a really solid game at tackle. I think he'll likely slide inside and be a guard at the next level, but he's a really impressive looking kid in 2023. Michigan's also offered Brandon Davis-Swain in the 2024 class. He's another big, intriguing athlete. Didn't do a ton today, played some defensive end. Interested to see how he grows. Michigan does have another offer out in 2022 at West Bloomfield, Michael Williams, who did not play due to injury. On the opposite sideline was Giovanni El-Hadi, Rivals 100 Michigan offensive line commit. And, it was tough to judge Gio on this one game. It was a complete massacre. So it was just a rough time for Stevenson all around. Like I've said with Gio in the past, he has a really good athletic build. I would like to see him improve his feet a bit, and as well as just his overall aggression, ability to finish blocks. Again, he has all the tools. Everything is there for Gio to be a 3-year player and into the NFL, but he has to put it all together. And so I think that's the thing that lacks. The good thing, it's interesting to rate Gio because he's a guy that I don't feel is where his ranking should be. Or I feel like he's ranked a little too high right now. But I do feel like, I feel like his ranking's too high right now, but I feel like he should stay ranked pretty high because he's a good fit at Michigan and Ed Warner can develop him. So I think that the upside there and knowing who his position coach is going to be kind of outweighs some of the negatives that or concerns that I have about him. A lot of times we don't really look at that when it comes to rankings, but when I evaluate players, I like to see how they fit at the next level. And I know that El-Hadi is going into a good situation with Warner, and I think he'll clean up his body a little bit. I think he'll help, shape up his feet, and I think he'll bring out that aggression that El-Hadi lacks at times. He's capable. There's times on his senior film where he drives guys all the way back, but it's just not consistent. So being more consistent in that aspect is a must for El-Hadi. But again, it was just a really bad game to evaluate him at because they were getting blown out. He basically didn't play the fourth quarter. So, it was a tough game all around, but West Bloomfield moves on. I will be somewhere next week. I actually don't know, and I'm not keeping it a secret. I don't know where I will be next week, but you can follow me over at thewolverine.com. Use promo code BLUE60, get 60 days for free.